Okay, let's start. So, I'm writing a book, and YouTubers told me that you need a media presence or a social media presence. So, I'm starting a channel. I'm gonna talk about books and stuff I'm reading, and maybe games I'm playing, and basically just talking. And so, that's why I'm here. Maybe that's why you're here. So, let's start. So, this is my first video, and the book I'm writing is a long ways away. But they say you should start early with a channel, so I'm starting early. So, why are we here today? I just read a book. Actually, I listened to it, the audiobook. The first Wheel of Time book, which is great in the end. If you're looking for a review, which you shouldn't be, this is not a review. I'm nowhere near qualified enough to review books, fantasy books specifically. But if you're looking for something, I liked it. It's really good. I'm gonna go into spoilers now, and we're just gonna talk about it and maybe have fun and discussions. And if you've read it, you should continue on. If you haven't read it, you really should. It's really good, and you can come back once you read it, so we can talk spoilers. Overall, I really like the book. I can't wait to start the second one. I listened to the audiobook, but the Rosamund Pike one. I know there's like two people that are a man and a woman that did all of the books, and they're like iconic for them. I just happened to listen to Rosamund Pike first, so sorry about it. And I'll listen to. I already bought the second audiobook on Audible, so I'll listen to that. I'll probably start that really soon. And I can't wait. And I can't wait for the third one. I know she will do the third one. We'll see if she does any more. If not, I have the other two, so I'll check them out. I know a lot of people really like them, the original ones, so that'll probably be fine. But yeah, so I really like. I have my notes on here. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Okay, so first book in the Wheel of Time mega series. There's 15 books overall, which is crazy, but okay. It's called Eye of the World, right? Robert Jordan, icon, rest in power. I really enjoyed the beginning. Like, I would say the beginning and the ending were my favorite parts. The middle was kind of, but I really liked it. So I have my notes here, and I think we can go through characters first. So I have just the main characters, obviously Rand. Oh, and also, I will definitely get names wrong. That's like for sure. So I'm really sorry. These are like the names you give your children. I'm really sorry, but yeah, I'm gonna try my best. So yeah, Rand. Rand is our main character. Spoiler alert, also he's like the dragon, I guess, which gets kind of revealed in the ending, but you also kind of get it as time goes by because he just does crazy stuff. Yeah, I really liked. He's kind of the very vanilla, very basic. I don't feel like we know Rand yet, which is probably good for like a main character. He's kind of in the background, but not always in the background. Like everyone else, I can picture, kind of in my mind. But Rand is like a bland guy, and I I know from a few of my friends that have read it that it's in the future he gets a lot of stuff work with his character. But we're in his head. We're kind of learning the world as he is, and I really like that. I enjoyed his point of view. I enjoyed his way of thinking. He wasn't annoying, which is really important for a main character. And I think the best part for me with Rand is his dad. It's his relationship with his dad, and is he his dad, and he really thinks about that a lot. Like even in some of the hardest points, he's grabbing the sword that his father gave him, and he's really shaken up by the fact that he might not be his son. And I really like that. I really like that about him. Let's move on. Egwene, one of the, I think, really good parts of this was that it was kind of, I don't want to say it's not women centric, but women are represented in this book at least. I have a few friends that some of them have read the books, some of them have only watched the Amazon series, but I've heard from both sides, and then I've also heard from some people that that's not true, but I've heard from both sides that there is a problematic depiction of women in the Wheel of Time, not Eye of the World, in like the series, right? That there is this kind of women hate. That's what the words people used. I will say I did not see that in Eye of the World. I like that we have multiple female characters. It's not just a love interest, and it's not just the love interest and the wise woman, and that's it. We have more women characters in it, and it's cool. And also, women are respected in a very strange way, I would say. Like, her wisdom is always a woman. There's the Women Council. They talked about the Women Council, which is a thing. It's in the beginning of the book, and it's like men have their job too, but women have a council that like really has the final word on everything, which I found interesting. And kind of contrary to what people were telling me, that there's this a lot of women hate, which I guess comes from I'm guessing Aes Sedai, because they're hated a lot among the like regular people, not magical people. Um, and you know the men Aes Sedai, they're called something different, but they were killed, right? They're prosecuted and chased by the female Aes Sedai, and I'm guessing that will come into play, and then that's how people get to the point of the series being like not anti-women, but like full of women hating on women. We'll see. But yeah, in the first book, I really liked that there was female representation that wasn't woke and like bullshit. It was just women were there too, and had reasons to be there too. We'll get on to the reasons, but whatever. Yeah, so I liked Egwene. She did get on my nerves when they were with the traveling people. I was like, really? Like, you've been away from Rand like what, a few days, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. Someone's gonna correct me and say, no, they're traveling for 2 months. Okay, fine, but like sometime. It wasn't like 5 years, and you're already with this one guy. But then she was like flirting with like the traveling son guy. But then all of a sudden, like, she starts crying, right, to Perrin. She's like, oh, they're alive, right? Because that tells us, like, oh, she's still thinking about everyone. And are they okay? And it's really hard for her. And she's just kind of using the festivities and all that stuff that happened with the traveling people to kind of get her mind off of it. But she was still very concerned about everyone, not just Rand, but everyone. And I really like that. I think her character was really done well. I'm hoping to see like her training, because I think I said that they're really, really cool, and she's like a new one, and so it'll be really fun to see that. I hope we get to see that. I tried to align it best I can. Where do we? Yeah, Nynaeve. Okay, I have a love-hate Nynaeve relationship. I understand why she's there, and I like that she's there, but she's also kind of annoying. But I think that Moraine isn't questioned a lot. Also in both ways, like literally, people just don't question her enough. They just accept things, but also like her motives and stuff. And yeah, like Rand really thinks about, oh my god, she's an Aes Sedai, she's this, and they talk about it, but they don't do it in front of her. They don't do it to her. Whereas Nynaeve is very like, who are you? Why are you doing this? Why should we trust you? She poses questions that we as readers also have. Moraine doesn't usually answer them, so I guess that also kind of undercuts Nynaeve as a character. Um, but and she gets really annoying at some points when she's like, oh, and you're like, ugh, just accept that she's helping you and that you're coming along, because you're also, they don't know where they're going. That's another thing. They're like, they lived in the Two Rivers their whole life. They don't even know they're part of a kingdom. I guess it's a kingdom, right? They have a queen, right? Yeah, it's a kingdom. And you're going to Tar Valon, and you're just following her, and you're not even sure where you're going. And so like, and Nynaeve questions that. Everyone questions that, but she questions it most of all. And also, the problem is that they still go, kind of, because they don't know where they're going, right? They don't know at all where they're going. She could be taking them anywhere. She could be taking them to the Dark Lord, as far as they know. I'm not even sure that they know where Tar Valon is. They might. They had a map in like the main like inn, right? So I guess they might know they're kind of going in the right place. But yeah, she argues with Moraine. I forgot the name. God, sorry, Moraine. She argues with Moraine a lot, but she also kind of accepts it too easily. And she accepts not getting answers, which just makes her kind of annoying. But she was needed. And she's actually what gives the book proper representation of women, right? Because some women are annoying, just like some men. Like some men that we'll talk about. Some women are annoying, some women are mystical, some women are pretty and caring and whatever. And they represent a nice range, right? And it makes sense. Like Moraine is this mystical sorceress. I guess they don't call her sorceress. Aes Sedai. She knows magic. She knows a lot of stuff that, you know, she's kind of an exposition dump sometimes. Egwene is really like caring, loving, and she's the love interest in this first one. Also, I really like, going back to Egwene, I really like that I forget her name, but the girl that like sees stuff, she knows. She told Rand that it's not that they're not meant to be, kind of, even though they want each other, but they're not for each other in that way. And he like thinks about it, right? He talks about how he's lost. I know it's a tangent. Sorry. He's like, I'm lost in her eyes. It's an ocean you never want to get out of, something like that. And then he like remembers, she's not for you. I think that's even a direct quote. It's like, she's not for you. Not in the way you both want. Which is like, I like that dynamic. I can't wait to see where that goes, right? But yeah, back to Nynaeve. Nynaeve gave, you know, more range to women that we see in the story among the main characters. She gave us, and at first I was like, but she didn't do anything. She was just stood there. Then I remembered that she rescued Bella, and there was that whole thing about when Perrin and Egwene were captured, and she was the one that like cut all the ropes from the horses. That was actually a really tense scene, and I really like. It was like, oh my god, please be okay, everyone be okay. It was a really good scene, and she was there, and it made sense. They talked about how she tracked them down, and she was good at like, I guess sneaking, not really sneaking, but like going a long ways, and it was kind of a long ways to get to all those horses and cut all of that thing. You have to be like, you can be useless, right? Like I feel like Egwene couldn't do that. Not that Egwene is useless, but like currently she is. Like in the current story, she's not much more than a love interest and an Aes Sedai to be. She's like a promise that she will be cool at some point. Whereas Nynaeve is kind of cool already. It's just that her character is kind of annoying, but it is what it is, and I think she serves the story really well in the end, even though she's one of the least likable in the group. Who do I have next? Mat. Oh, that's funny. I really didn't like Mat. He's really annoying, and I understand that most of the book he's not himself. He's like he's like Gollum, right? From Eye of the World, from Lord of the Rings, right? He's kind of like filling that role of being corrupted by this thing that he's holding or not holding, and that's a problem. But yeah, he even beforehand, like he's kind of just annoying. I thought a really cool scene. So when they were in, I'm gonna forget all the names, but when they were in the inn and Rand used lightning for the first time and like his power for the first time, and he like killed all those people and whatever, and they ran away. I thought I thought that was Matt at first. It wasn't completely clear to me that that was Rand and his power, and I thought, oh, Matt has electrical abilities or thunder abilities, and I thought that was cool. And I even thought like maybe the dagger gives him that ability, but that wasn't the case in the end. That was actually Rand and his power, and I probably should have guessed that sooner because Rand gets really sick afterwards. But you know, because I was like, oh, he doesn't see now, Matt. He has bad vision now, and I was like, that's probably from using the power. Like that's kind of the give and take of it. But no, that was completely wrong on my. So Matt is really kind of useless if you look at it. Nynaeve actually did something, but what did Matt do? What did Matt really do? Except stand there. And he, I guess, juggled, right? When they were alone, the two of them, Rand would like sing and use the like, what was the instrument? The harmonic? I don't know. I forget. But he did music, and Rand like juggled, and that's fine, I guess. He didn't do much, and he was really annoying, especially with the dagger. He's like touching the dagger and whatever, and he wasn't too annoying, like but I just wasn't like every time he would say something, I was like, okay, Matt, you said what you were going to say, but I knew you were going to say. He didn't surprise me. In any point of the story, he was the same, and so I didn't like Matt. If I had to cut someone, it would be Matt, which is kind of sad because he's one of the three. I don't know what one of the three, but one of the three that was chosen by the Dark Lord. Perrin. I really liked Perrin. Now, when they get split up at... Oh god, the name. I have the name somewhere here. Hold on. Shadar Logoth. I'm probably butchering even that, but that's the name. That's the, like, place. They get separated there. At first, I really didn't like that, especially when I got Matt and Tom and Rand on the like boat thing. They were like going down and they were talking. I was like, it's really Lord of the Rings. It really gave me Lord of the Rings at that point. Like when the hobbits use the water to escape and they leave everyone else behind, like the two hobbits. I really didn't like that part, but then we got to have other not main characters but points of view. So we got Nynaeve, which was cool. She didn't do much, but she also had that scene where she finds out she's also like can't touch the one power, which is a cool scene, I guess. But they didn't do much with that. But I like that. I liked getting their points of view. I think Perrin was really in the background. Like Matt was there because he was stupid, or he would do stupid things or silly things. So we got more of him than we did of Perrin, and so Perrin was really. It was really good seeing his point of view. It made his character pop way more, right? And also the wolf thing and Elias meeting Elias was really. It did for what I thought thought was done for Matt with the lightning, which was Rand's actually. It was Perrin's wolf thing. That was it. I did not say that right, but basically the whole wolf moment with Perrin and him realizing that when he was like in the Two Rivers and working, he would always see a wolf nearby and all of that. That was really cool. here, right? And it gave him depth and gave him something to do and a conflict that Matt, I feel like, didn't have in the end, which I think hurt him and his character and him being interesting. And Perrin was really nice and he was really like, and I like also how both Perrin and Rand have think that the other knows how to be with girls. Like they say like, oh, Perrin knows. Rand is like talking to some girl, I think, or whatever, and he's like, oh, Perrin would know what to do. And Perrin, and when he's talking with Egwene and trying to like not handle her, that sounds wrong, but like um talk to her in a way, he's like he wishes Rand was here, and because he's better at it. And I think it's really interesting, you know, how they both think each other is better with girls. And I guess they're both like that, I guess. But yeah, it was really fun. The entire scene, not scene, but like arc, I guess, of them, of Bella. Also, shout out to Bella. I love Bella, the horse. But yeah, Egwene and Rand and Bella going alone and trying to hunt and finding first Elias, then the wandering people. I really enjoyed that part, and that kind of made the separation worth it for me. Even though I wanted them to stay together, but in the end, that separation was cool for me. And also, like they didn't do a lot, Nynaeve and Lan and Moraine, but that was okay too. It's just that Rand and Matt and Tom alone, I could have used, I could have skipped those parts. In fact, I think when Tom goes missing or dies, um, he doesn't really go missing. That's wrong phrasing, but dies. Um, I think that they become more interesting because they're discussing less, and it's kind of more intense because they're alone. They don't know what to do. They're kind of going village to village, and also I watched the map as I listened. I watched the map and I was like, oh, they're getting closer. They're getting closer, and also like Rand didn't talk to Matt as much, so it was a bit better. Even though they were alone, but I feel like they didn't talk much. Like they talked about what they were doing in the immediate now, but they didn't talk about like um, should they trust the Aes Sedai. And Matt wasn't just stupid; he was just kind of angry a lot of the time. Yeah. So all in all, I really liked Perrin. Perrin was really cool, and I'm excited to see where the wolf thing goes. Um, and yeah, I wish he had a bit more to do, specifically near the end. But that's like the ending is. We'll get to there. Lan was cool, really cool, but he was kind of just there. Whenever they needed to kill someone or something, he was there to do that. When they needed someone who was good at tracking or camping or whatever, that's when Lan would do anything. And besides that, we didn't get a lot. We did get the whole thing about him being a king that was never crowned and all of that, and he kind of gave it up. I did like the scene where I forget the man, but like the leader of the Faldara. Am I saying that right? Probably not. But he's like, we're going to Tarwin's Gap, and we're gonna fight. And if you accompanied us, it would give the men like um, morale and whatever. And he like wants to go. You see that the call of going to war is he thinks that's important and that he should go, but he can't because he has to go with his Aes Sedai because he's a warder now, and they have to protect their Aes Sedai no matter what. And you see kind of the turmoil inside him, which is one of the rare parts where you see anything with his character, and I like that. But that was like half a page for like an entire book, so he didn't do much. He was just kind of there and cool, and he taught them how to fight a little bit, and that's it. But yeah, all in all, he did his part, I guess. Moraine, I like Moraine. But I have problems with Moraine that don't really have to do with her character, because she doesn't really have a character. She's there to give exposition, to tell the reader and everyone else, because no one knows this besides her and Lan, things, and she's kind of just there and cool. She is cool. I like her. I like um, the way she talks about things and says things, and the things she says are really cool. But I feel like she's very, like, whenever someone says something against her, or is like Nynaeve is bitchy to her or whatever, she kind of just ignores it, which is fine, I guess. But I feel like I don't know her. I feel like she's kind of very much a tool, a storytelling tool in this first book. She has a want, she has a need, and whenever information is needed, she just gives that information. That's it. This is, you can find this the most apparent with, oh, what's his name? Do I have him in my notes? Padan Fain. Am I saying that right? Padan Fain. When he's like chasing them, and they find out. When he's like chasing them, and they find him finally, and she like doesn't torture him, but she like does magic or whatever to him, and to find out what he knows. And she like comes in the room and she like tells us everything Padan Fain was doing all this time. And it's kind of like, okay, it's not cheap. It's not a cheap storytelling trick, but it is a storytelling trick, and it kind of, she does that too many times, where she's just kind of there to fill in the gap. That I'm like, you're not a real character, which is fine for now. But yeah, she is really cool. I just don't feel like I know her. Who is left? Tom. I really like Tom, and I was really sad when I thought he died, but he's not dead. Moraine says, at least, or at least she doesn't think he's dead, because, like I said, she just gives you information that the author wants to give you. I'm gonna scoot you back. Is that okay? You're not gonna fall? Okay, good. I think because Moraine kind of just gives you the information the author wants you to know. I think he's not dead, from what she said, and I think that's cool. I can't wait to see him again. I think he was really cool. He had like his green cloak and the knives thing. And I really liked one of the problems, I'll talk about this later, but one of the problems I had with the story is why they went with her. But I really liked his introduction. He's like, oh, I've never performed in Tar Valon before. And so he wants to go to Tar Valon, basically. And then later on you realize he also wants to help these boys, because his son tragically died because he was with or engaging with Aes Sedai. So he kind of just wants to help because he remembers his son, I guess, which is sad. But also I'm gonna forget his name, but in Kael'dan, his friend really helped out Rand and Mat. He really, stuck his neck out for them, and that was really cool. And it just shows you how good of a friend Tom is to this person, whose name, I can't believe I forgot his name, but he was really cool as well. So Tom was really fun. I can't wait to see him again. I think he has character. That's like the difference between him and Moraine. Even though Moraine has way more lines. You're falling. Okay. How about... You good? Yes, you are. So, Tom has way less lines and dialogue than Moraine. But you see way more of his character than Moraine's character. Because Tom is there to be a character. Moraine is there to give exposition. yeah, you feel like you know Tom way better than you do Moraine. Which is maybe on purpose because she's an Aes Sedai, and you don't know like is she good, is she bad? That's like a big question in the thing, but in the book. But yeah, he just gets such a little time, but he shines that little time, and he's very likable, and not like he's not a child. He's not like a kid as like all the others are. He doesn't get like the basic like oh he has powers or he has this or he has that or he's a warder or some fancy name. He's just I forget the name of it, but he's basically an entertainer. He goes from like place to place and he entertains people. And he was also like the queen's uh, gleeman. I got you. The word is gleeman. Yeah. Um, and he's a great gleeman. He was like the queen's gleeman, I guess, and he was really fun. Yeah. Who's next? Loyal. Loyal is an Ogier, which are these creatures. He's basically the Treebeard of the group, but he's much more with the group. He gets introduced pretty late, but he's really cool. I really like this character, and I think one of the most touching parts of the book was his song to the Green Man or his grave that like will help. Like so the Green Man, right? He kills that one guy, but he sacrifices. He dies as well in that fight, and like this big tree grows, right? And the blight is slowly eating everything around, and Loyal sings a song, which is like it does. It's not just him singing a song. It's something a completely different experience than what we think of when we think sing a song. But he sings a song that will actually help the Green Man's grave and the little surrounding patch of land still stay uncorrupted by the blight, which I found really. This probably one of it's in the top 3 favorite scenes. I think. I don't have a top 3. Don't expect a top 3, but I really like that scene, and it just showed how Loyal, even though he was in the book a very short time, he did way more and was gave us so much cool stuff like as a character, and then like say I don't know Alan even, but definitely a Matt. Also, what I really liked is when they got to Fardara. I have it here. Faldara. I really liked how um, they gave a lot of respect to Lan. They even had like a special name for him, but they also had said like grace to the builders or something like that. But they really respect the Ogier because they built like a lot of cities and stuff for men, and before they like went to their things, I forget the steading. The steading is it's what it's called. But yeah, I love how everyone really accepted him and was like really um, in the north, right? And I found oh that was so cool for me because the north fights the evil all every year, right? And in the Two Rivers, which is like the middle of the continent, I guess it's continent, right? Um, the north fights Trollocs all the time and Myrddraal as well, like the evil, the blight, everything, whatever. So they remember the builders, they remember Myrddraal, they remember the Trollocs, right? Whereas when the Trollocs attack Two Rivers, people, they're shocked because they think that those are fairy tales. They don't remember it, right? They don't remember builders. They know them, they know of them because they're kind of in their folklore, in their fairy tales. But it's been so long that someone has attacked Two Rivers that they're shocked when they see that Trollocs were real, even, or that the Ogier are real. Rand looks at Loyal and he's like, "Oh my god, a Trollocs!" But then he realizes when he talks to him and he has a conversation with him. He's like, "Oh, you're an Ogier." When Rand talks to Loyal for the first time, he doesn't realize, he thinks he's a Trollocs or Trolloc, and he's not. He's an Ogier, and he realizes he's an Ogier because all that is in fairy tales for the Two Rivers people. But in the north, they all remember them because they see him all the time. Probably not the Ogier, but they do see Trollocs all the time, and Murdral especially. I'm guessing. Um, yeah, so I found that really cool, and the amount of respect that they gave the builders in general, which is like in Caelid, 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 Caelid. Um, they were really scared of him, of the Ogier, right? Because he's like scary. He's Trollocs, maybe. Trolloc. I keep saying Trollocs, right? It's Trolloc. Trollocs. Okay. Working on it. By book 15, I'll get it all. Yeah, so I found it really cool, the singing to the Green Man's grave. I find that really touching, and stopping it. And also it was really cool because that moment's so cool because all of them, basically everyone we talked about besides Tom, um, they all stood there, right? And they were kind of in a rush. But when Loyal sang to the tree, to kind of keep it alive and keep it not corrupted by the blight, um, they all waited. And they waited a while because Rand notices like it's morning when they leave, but by the time the song is over, and they don't even, he doesn't at least feel that it took a while, but the sun is already high in the sky, right? So they actually waited a while, even though they were in a rush. They waited a while because the Green Man was like so much, and also the Green Man was really. Let's talk about the Green Man. I really like the Green Man. I think the moment he got on screen and started talking about how he plans to leave and all that, he was like, I was like, yeah, you're dead. Who's gonna come and kill you? And they did, but he killed one of the two guys that came. So I found that was really good, and also the Loyal in him, the amount of like respect that they gave each other, it really made the world feel alive, right? It's like you see these two entities that are completely different from our main characters, from Rand and the Two River Folk, and they have they're like brothers. They call each other brothers, and Loyal is like, I'm not worthy of even being here or whatever. He's really, and Loyal also says that to the people in Faldara. Am I saying that wrong again? Faldara. Faldara. But yeah, he talks about the people in Faldara, and the people in Faldara address him that way, and he's like, I'm not worthy of blah blah blah. And so it also gives you how this kind of relationship between entities that have nothing to do with our characters, which I think really brings the world alive. It really made me smile. That exchanges between Loyal and really everyone after Kaelin. Is it Caelid or Kaelin? Caemlin. But yeah, so in Caemlin, it was a whole different story about how Ogier were treated, or maybe they didn't even know he was an Ogier. Maybe they were like, oh, that looks weird. He's too tall. He's like disfigured, or whatever. And it made me really happy when they got up north, and they like had so much respect for him. Padan Fain wasn't needed. It was kind of cool to see how the evil lord controls people and really like turned them into a zombie. Basically, they just chased them. But did we need that? It was like whatever. Elias was really cool. Shout out to Hopper. Rest in power, Hopper. He was like amazing. It was really like Perrin seeing Hopper like fly into the air, and in that moment, because he's connected to all of them, he like knows that Hopper loves to like fly in the air, he loves to jump, and like he jumps and he dies, and it's so sad. But and they like skin him too. They tell him that it's like the beast was skinned, and it's just so sad. And Elias is alive, and like hears it, not hears it, but like telekinetically knows that he's alive. So that's cool. I really like that. What else do we have? The traveling people were cool. Don't have a lot of thoughts about them. They served the story well. Um, it gave Egwene like more character. Like I said before, it made us learn more about her. That even though she is tempted by the good time, and so is Perrin, to be fair, they're still thinking about all the rest of the guys, and are they okay? Are they alive? And they're really showing their trauma there as well. So they did their job well, and they give probably more lore, I would say, about something that will come. I'm sure that we'll see the traveling people again. The Green Man, legend. I think they even say when he like kills the guy, and like as he's dying, takes an acorn or something, and the tree like grows, like the tree of fucking life, and it's so cool. And they even say like something on the lines of a legend's grave forms or something like that, but they call him a legend even in there, and it's really cool. It's really cool how like that entire place is like you can only go there once. Moraine, of course, goes twice, but it's Moraine. Um, I really liked it. I really liked him. He didn't have a lot to do. He did what we expected of him to do, but he did it, and he was a legend. Really loved the beginning on the road with Tam and the main character's name, Rand. When Tam and Rand are going down the road and they feel like being watched, and it's the Myrddraal, and the Myrddraal like he's in the wind, but the wind doesn't touch him, so his cloak doesn't feel the wind; it just stands still. It's really good. I really like that part. I also really liked the Trollocs attack when one of the Trollocs talks to Rand and tries to get him to put the sword down, and then he attacks him, and Rand still kills him, but whatever. I found it really. It was like they're intelligent too. Enough, like they're intelligent enough to try to trick people. They're not crazy intelligent, but it's like it makes Trollocs a bit more than just fodder, right? Even though they are fodder, they just kind of get killed whenever we need someone killed. But it gives them a bit more layering, right? I really like that, dragging Tam back, hearing that he's not probably his son, he's adopted, because Tam is like in a fever. I was so scared that Tam was gonna die. I was like, I don't want Tam to die. I'm not ready for that. I like Tam. Like let's not do this. What else do we have? Yeah. Okay. So let's get into some stuff that I didn't like. When they start going, like they gather the three boys, and that's fine. They need them. They know that they need them. They need to get into Tar Valon to realize why the Dark Lord wants the three of them. I can get behind that. I can even get behind that they are that the three of them are just they want to go because they're scared. The Trollocs just attack them. I can get behind that. I don't at all understand Egwene and why she came. Why was she even allowed to come? But why she wanted to come? What was the point? She came. I'm glad she came. We got some cool moments and some love drama in the story, but just on a logical level, I was like, why is she coming? Also, why is Tom coming? So Tom, I think Gwen was already coming. So it's like, yeah, I'm coming too. And at that point, I was like, okay, so if Egwene is coming, so is Tom, and I'm glad Tom is coming. Yeah, so I was glad Egwene was coming as well. It's not like I really liked Egwene at the beginning. I liked Egwene throughout the entire book. It just I just don't understand why she came and why she wanted to come and why Moraine let her come. And that's another problem. And this is a problem I think directly with Moraine. I feel like whenever the author needs something to happen that he can't explain, he just has Moraine say it's part of the pattern. It's like, why is Egwene coming? She's part of the pattern. Why is Nynaeve coming along with him? She's part of the pattern. And I was like, I wish they had a better reason, right? Why is Loyal coming? He's part of the pattern. And he's like, Loyal has uses later on. They all do, kind of. Egwene really doesn't. Not like in a fighting or whatever way. But yeah, I feel like it's kind of it's probably the cheapest part of the book or the storytelling is the pattern and like the pattern will weave as the pattern weaves or so, sentences like that. I just like you could have come up with something. And I like that Egwene wanted to come. She was like, "Yeah, I'm going." I didn't mind that completely. And especially with Rand, it makes sense. She likes Rand. She's kind of in love with Rand, but not really. I wouldn't call it love. I wouldn't call it like crazy love, right? But you know, it's she wants to go with the boy she likes. She wants them all to be together. Now, yes, that didn't really work for me, and also the whole idea of we're not going to Tar Valon now. We're going to the Eye of the World was a leap that was like, okay, we made that leap. And why did we make that? The pattern. And I'm like, so the author wants us to go there. I didn't feel like we had a good enough reason to go to the Eye of the World. And the author's just like, Moraine, talk about the pattern. It's the pattern. And I know there's like the story that the traveling people told Egwene and Perrin, and there's like other stuff that happened with Matt and Rand. I get that. It wasn't enough for me to justify not going to Tar Valon because like they're really important, the three guys, and like we're the closest we will ever be to Tar Valon. We're just supposed to go to Tar Valon, and they're like, oh no, we're going somewhere else, and we're using a dark pathway built by male Aes Sedai that we might die in, or probably will die in, just to get somewhere to do we don't know what. And no one really challenges this, almost at all. They challenge using the ways. I think that's what they're called, right? The ways. Um, I think there are multiple names for it, but and I'm just like, could we have a better reason to go there? Getting there was cool. Being there was cool. The stuff that happens there was cool. I just needed more reason to go there. So I think that's also kind of problematic. Also, I kind of found it confusing where the Green Man's place was. I know it like moves around, but in that when they were like fighting the blight and all the like, creatures and whatever, and the trees that were attacking them and everything, and at some point they were just in the Green Man's like area, whatever it's called. Um, I was a little confused where that was. Watching the map, I wish the map had it like somewhere, or because I was like, there's like the Seven Towers. I think that's what it's called. It's like Faldara. I'll use my editing skills that I don't have, and I'll put the map on the screen. There's like Faldara. There's like the Seven Towers, and we're like somewhere around the Seven Towers. But are we past the mountains? Are we before the mountains? Are we in the middle of the mountains? I didn't understand that completely. I didn't. So that was confusing for me. But uh, it was fine. I just wish I knew where we were exactly. You know, the map. I really liked using the map and watching our journey and where we're going. I did not enjoy not know where we were. So the problem I had was with the ending. Not like the ending. The ending was kind of cool. I kind of really liked it, especially the last line. We'll talk about lines. But in the ending, you kind of have like, where did the eye go, or what happened to the eye of the world? Like, they talked about some rocks that couldn't be broken. I'm like, they barricaded. Couldn't they just move the rocks, even though they can't be broken? And if they were melded together, they could be unmelded. Especially by like someone as powerful as the Dark Lord, which will be free soon. So that didn't stop the Eye of the World. Did they destroy the Eye of the World? I don't know. It was confusing for me, and it was also confusing for some of my friends who have read it. So I'm not alone in this. Like, what happened? I just wish I knew more about that. Also, the scene with Rand and like the evil guy, I forget his name. He died too quickly for me to remember his name. But like the evil guy, he had like a standoff, and I guess I googling later, I understood that he took too much of the Eye of the World, and it kind of makes sense. Like, there's a tether or like a line to the Eye of the World, and like took too much, and I guess exploded. I understood it at first that Rand killed him, and also I understood that Rand killed Tarwin Gap. That he won the battle for them, which is fine. I understood that part, but I didn't understand why the guy died, and I didn't understand what happened to the Eye of the World. I still don't understand. Like, leave me a comment. What happened to the Eye of the World? And is what happened, am I not supposed to know? Is that something that comes up later? I maybe, I guess. I hope. Otherwise, it's just really confusing. Moraine's just like, yeah, we've done what we need to do. Let's go. The author is like, Moraine, it's time to say that we're supposed to go. And she's like, yep, it's time to go. But what happened to you? It doesn't matter. Let's go. Like, I'll sing your song. And we just go. And it's like, the Eye of the World is so important and so powerful. Like, a guy died using it because he had too much power. And now we're just going without making sure. I guess she made sure, right? But like, I wish we knew what happened. Or maybe we do, and I'm just dumb. And the people that I've read to, that I know, that are friends of mine, are also dumb and don't understand it. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's not clear. And I'm just wondering if it's not clear on purpose, or it's just not clear. But yeah, I didn't like that part. I did like the ending. I think I even have the quote. It's like a simple quote. The dragon is reborn. That's the last sentence. And you realize Rand is the dragon. And you're like, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, he killed the entire army. That's really cool. I even thought when I was reading it, when they introduced the idea of male Aes Sedai, that was really cool to make a character that was a man, but maybe they're not Aes Sedai. I don't think they're called Aes Sedai. But basically, they can touch the one power. They have powers, and they're like chased by everyone. But he's not bad. He's not mad. Like, right, the men go mad. That's the problem. I thought that'd be a really cool story to have a male Aes Sedai that isn't mad but is chased, and I'm guessing that's gonna be at least part of the story in the rest of the Wheel of Time. Yeah, So that was really cool. Another quote I really liked, it was when Nynaeve and Lan were talking, like before the final push into the blight, and basically Lan is like, "You deserve someone better than me. You know, I love you." He doesn't say that, but like he loves her. It's just a little too much. Love is. I don't like using the word love. It's like too much for me. But for like these characters and characters that go through what they're going through, but you know he has deep emotions for her. He says something like, "I will always respect you and whatever, but you need someone better than me." And she's like, "I don't want anyone better, blah blah blah." And he like needs to go to the horses, right? And I have this quote. Let me just take it. And Rand is like, we're in Rand's point of view, and he like is trying to sleep, but he can't sleep. And the way the chapter ends, and this got me, it gave me goosebumps. I loved it so much. Sleep or no, Rand closed his eyes. He did not think the wisdom would like it if he watched her cry. I really like that sentence. It's, you know, Lan is off helping the horses or whatever, and she's just there crying because like he doesn't want to be with her, but like for a noble reason or whatever, and it's like, and it's not expected of Nynaeve, especially because she's a wisdom. And they also talk about it like wisdoms don't wed, and then she's like, but I'll be an Aes Sedai maybe. And he's like, they wed even less than wisdoms, and they have these talks, right? And it's just a great scene, and it's a great ending scene, and it's also, I'm excited for the love. I think the banter between the love interests is really good. It's small, like it doesn't happen a lot. It's not overbearing. It's not a romance novel, but it's just enough that I like it. Like when they talk about what they've been doing, whatever, and Perrin talks about the guy that Egwene was dancing with, and then Egwene is like later to Rand, I just danced with him. You know, I would never do anything more. He's like, yeah, I know. And then like Matt also talks about how the daughter of that one guy that let them stay in a shed, in his shed, and he's like, oh, and it's really fun. I really liked it, and it gave a little flavoring of romance without being like Twilight. Yeah, so this is long enough. That's all I have for you. Did you read the book? Did you like it? What did you think of what I thought of the book? Do you disagree? Do you agree? Like the video, subscribe. I plan on posting at least once a week. It's always gonna be about storytelling, at least. I think I'm gonna try and be on brand. Probably most of the time it's gonna be books. Maybe it's gonna be video games. Maybe it'll be some other. Maybe it will be a show. I don't know. I'm just gonna talk about random stuff that I'm doing, that I'm reading and enjoying, and just my thoughts. It's not gonna be anything overly crazy, but yeah, if you enjoyed this kind of discussion, subscribe. I don't know. Yeah. Bye.